Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be talking about my May wrap up, everything that I read. So in May I read 15 books, and as a lovely reminder to everybody watching, that ranges from anywhere to a full-length book to a short story because I track everything. So, you know, I know it's one of those things, like, I want to like make sure to tell you guys that like not all of these books are like 300 pages or something, because I know for some people, because I can be that kind of person sometimes, when I hear someone saying, I read 15 books, you're like, how? And so I like to just be very transparent with you guys and just be like, it's because I read like 10 short stories. There's no shame in that. Like, you can read any length book. So if all the books you read in 1 month are like 100 pages, that's great. That's more than the average person reads on a regular basis. So that's fine. And even if you read just one book a month, you're still doing fantastic. Always remember that, okay? There are people out there who don't read at all. Okay? There's people out there who don't read at all. All right? But anyways, so yeah, 15 books. So let's go ahead and let's jump right on into what I read. So for the first, if I keep looking over, it's because I have my spreadsheet right over here. That way I know. Because if you guys expect me to remember the title and author name of 15 books, you guys have a lot of faith in me. I'm just gonna tell you that now. So the first book I read was Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. I gave this book 3 stars. I was initially aiming for a 4-star for this book, but unfortunately the ending ticked me off so badly that I was like, no, you lose a star for that. You lose a star for that. And then it lost a star because the pacing was up and down. It was like fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow. So it lost for that, and then it lost for the really bad ending that I absolutely 100% hate with a passion. I even told my friend about this book, and she also hated the ending. So, But other than that, I was also, one of the other reasons I dropped a star on it too was I didn't care for the creature monster. If you look at the cover, it looks like a bird. It looks like there's like a bird monster, and then it's called Nestlings and like a nest. So I was like thinking I was gonna get like a bird monster, and as a certified bird lover, I was like, yes, they're not birds. I'm just gonna tell you guys that now, okay? Spoiler, they're not birds. And it really upsets me. It really upsets me. What the creature ended up being was unoriginal and boring, and I hated it. Now, the horror parts of the book, they're gory, they're gross, and there was 2 scenes that did actually make me go, oh, like they scared me. One of them is because it plays into something that I do actually fear, and then the other one, I just wasn't expecting it, and I was like, oh, we're just okay. So I will give it that. It is well written. I did like the characterization of Anna and Reed. Are they my favorite characters in the world? No, but I understand them as characters, and I understand them with their struggles and everything that they're going with, and I understand the portrayal that Cassidy was going for. So, and I do think that he managed to pull it off really, really well. Nat Cassidy is a guy, right? Yes. I had to double check that because I didn't want to misgender somebody. I am very big on trying not to misgender people. Whew. Whew. So yeah, 3 stars for Nestlings. I still think it's worth looking into if you like are into horror and stuff like that. So definitely give it a shot. After that, I read The Changeling Sea by Patricia A. McKillop, and if you're new here, this is my girl. This is my girl. Okay, you guys don't even know. So I'll admit now, I may be slightly biased in my ratings when it comes to Patricia's books. I'm just a little bit. But I gave this 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Perry is a fantastic main character. The romantic elements, that's one of the things that, as someone who doesn't really care for a lot of romance is very picky about how romance is portrayed in stories, Patricia portrays them in just the most breathtakingly beautiful, gorgeous way, and I just love it. The story though that Perry gets wrapped into with some princes is both, it's so heartbreaking and it's so beautiful at the same time. and I just loved every freaking inch of it. I want to say, yeah, I read this in one day. I mean, it's a fairly small book. You know, I've got, when I tab my books, I tab favorite quotes and stuff like that. So, as you can see, maybe not, but as you can see, there are lots of things that I love about her writing. Maybe at some point I'll give you guys like I'll do like a video of like some of my favorite Patricia quotes or something, so that you guys can like get a sense of like what it is I love about her. But yeah, also one of the things that I love about this book and just her writing in general is how she makes magic feel natural in her world. It just, the way it rolls into the story and the way the characters treat it, it's just, because at one point, you know, the fishermen, I don't know why I was blanking on that word, they're like, maybe the wizards can take care of it, or maybe the mages or the sorcerers, and everyone's like, oh my god, yeah, totally, maybe they could fix it. And like, it's not presented as like a separate entity of this world. Like, it's just, everybody's like, yeah, the wizards can fix it, yeah, you know. So and it's like that in all of her books. Like, the magic just feels natural. So 5 stars. I love it. I could gush about her all day long. You guys don't even know. She's like my best friend and she doesn't even know it. It's okay, you're still my best friend, Christy, calm down. And then after that, I read The Throne of the Earl of Cheryl by Patricia A. McKillop. Again, my girl. And I will be honest with you guys, I gave this 4 stars. Okay, I gave it 4. So what's really interesting about this one is the fact that there's 2 stories in this, and I didn't know that. The first story is The Throne of the Earl of Cheryl, and the second one is called, what is it? The Harrowing of the Dragon of Horsebreath. That's the reason why I dropped it down. One, because I did not enjoy that one as much as I did the first one, The Throne of the Earl of Cheryl. The Earl of Cheryl is about a knight who falls in love with a lord's daughter, and he's like, I want her hand in marriage, and the lord's like, really? I don't think so. And he sends him out on this mission to find the item that does not exist. And this knight is like, fine, I will find what does not exist so that I may marry her, you know. And he ends up going on this journey where he meets all these people and he makes all these sacrifices and trades, and it creates this circle. And I loved the way it ended. I thought it was just beautiful. This one is very fairy tale like, which is something that I really liked about it, because a lot of her books have that fairy tale vibe to them. And the Throne of the Earl of Cheryl definitely is like very fairy tale. And I loved it. The dragon one, it was, I felt like she was trying to do something a little bit different by like bringing in like maybe something more action centered as opposed to more whimsical and fairy tale, but also trying to blend that in. And so I just didn't find it as engaging. So it's probably, out of everything that I've read by her so far, the dragon one is probably like my least favorite one by her at the moment. So, but not to the point where I'm like, it's horrible. I don't think it really lived up to what I know she can give me. So yeah. And again, there's a couple little quotes in there. And then what's nice about my copy is there's art. Like, we always love a book with art. So after that, I've only gotten through 3 books so far, guys. I'm sorry. After that, I read The Door in the Wall by Marguerite d'Angely. This one I gave 3 stars to. It's a middle grade medieval story about a boy who loses the function in his legs and ends up living at this abbey with some monks, or a monastery actually, with some monks, and the monks kind of help heal him. Not like physically heal him, but like mentally heal him, because he becomes very, you know, depressed and distraught and thinks he's useless in the world now. And the monks are like, nah, you're totally useful. Like, we can find ways to help you feel like you're being useful in the world. It's a very pretty story. It's definitely not something that I see kids nowadays picking up, but then again, it was written in 1949. So It's definitely one of those books that's only really going to appeal to a specific kind of child, which is why you probably can't find it in like mainstream libraries much anymore. My library had a digital copy of it, and I seen it just surfing through there, and I was like, medieval middle grade? Let's try it. Because I like medieval stories, and I like middle grade. So, moving on. After that, I read three short stories that are part of a series on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you have access to some books, and they have these special series collections that I'm guessing Amazon like commissioned or something, or I don't really know how it came to be about, but it's their own collections. And this collection that I had read from is the Black Stars collection, where all the stories are written by Black authors. And so I read 3 of them so far. I think I have 3 more left, and I do plan on finishing them. But the first one I read is called The Visit by, and I apologize if I say any of these names wrong, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I gave this one 4 stars. It takes the gender role idea, flips it, so instead of men being the breadwinners, it's women who are the breadwinners, and you see it from the man's point of view, where he feels like he's being neglected and ignored by his wife, who makes all of this money, demands that he has the house clean when he's home, makes her dinner, you know, and at the same time she's more than likely having an affair, but he's like, I don't have anything, like I don't have a career, I don't have like my own money. So it was very intriguing to see, and I very much enjoyed it, and I liked the way it was written. After that, I read The Black Pages by Nindi Okafor. I gave this one 2 stars. For the most part, I found this one honestly kind of boring, and then it was a little irritating to follow, because like it was following these like 2 different timelines. Like one, I guess, was like a dream timeline, and the other one was like a present day timeline, and they were trying to preserve a book, but also I think the girl was like from the book. It was really confusing, and it was really long, and I didn't really care for the style of the prose that it was written in, so I ended up giving it the 2 stars and was just like, anyways, moving on. After that, I read the 2043 A Merman I Should Turn to Be by Nissi Schwal. I gave this one 1 star because it was confusing. It was so confusing. I have no idea what this story was trying to tell me. I was like, what? And maybe it's a me thing, but I also looked at other reviews, and a lot of other people were like, this was really confusing, I don't know what's going on. So maybe it's not just me. After that, I read The Monster of Brookhaven by Padraig Kenny. This is a middle grade book. I gave this 5 stars. Piglet, the character Piglet, stole the show. Oh my god, stole the show. It's a spooky monster middle grade book. It's got like the found family vibes, and the end of the book, like the whole book itself was really, really good, but the ending was beautiful. It was heartbreaking. I cried, like, and it's all because of Piglet. Like it was fantastic. I loved it so much, and there is a sequel to it, so I do plan on reading that one as well. Fingers crossed it's just as good. And then after that, I read The International House of Dereliction. Oh my god, that is a long title for a middle grade book. And that is by Jacqueline Davies. I can talk, guys, I can. I gave this one 3 stars. So this is one of those middle grades that will appeal more to kids who like a cute ghost story as opposed to a spooky ghost story. So that was one of the drawbacks for me. When I read my middle grade spookies, I want them to be spooky. I want them to have that slightly darker tone to them. I really enjoy them. I don't really care for the cutesy, adorable, we're your friends kind of ghosts. It doesn't do it for me, okay? And then the other like super big issue I had with the book was the portrayal of the parents. A lot of times in middle grade books, they do kind of overcompensate on how they portray the parents. Sometimes I think they do it really well. Other times I think they do a horrendous job with it, and this is one of the ones where I personally think it was just horrendously done. I did not like the way these parents acted throughout this entire book. They were just so over the top with their just, we're such a great, good, happy family. Everything is honky-dory. Yeah! Like, I didn't like it. And then I was also very confused as to why these parents just let their, like, 11-year-old run around a college campus. Because, like, they lived on the campus. But, like, she's just running around a college campus. And I'm like... And I know it's a very common trope in middle grade books to just let the kids run wild, but usually it's in like a neighborhood where like people kind of know each other, or the kids get whisked off to like some fantasy land or whatever, and so like the parents just aren't there to say anything. Like her parents are there, they're present, and they're just letting her run around a college campus. And I was just like, not a single moment in that book was spent with the parents being like, hey, stop running around. I think at one point they told her to stop going to the house next door, which was where the ghosts and stuff were. But like it didn't hold anything to it. So yeah, that really bothered me. It really bothered me. And then it was like a lot of, let's fix this house up. It's a fixer-upper because we're fixer-upper people. And I just didn't like that. I didn't like that like spin of the story. So not my favorite middle grade. Good thing I got it from the library. Then after that, I ended the month out with reading another of the Prime collections, and this is the Creature Feature collection. So all the stories feature a creature of some sort. They're horror adult books, and so I was like, cool, that's my favorite kind of horror book, something that has a creature in it. The first one in the collection is The Pram by Joe Hill. I absolutely hated this. I hated this book, mostly because you go through this entire book and he gives you like 1 second with the creature and then the story ended. And I was like, are you really kidding me right now? Like, you spent all of this time building it up and you give me like 2 paragraphs. And then, of course, I was left with so many questions after the end because I'm like, does his wife know? Does his wife even know? Is she just going to wake up and see that down there? Is she just going to walk into this? Did it happen to her too? Like, I hated it. And I also just didn't like the way, like, the character was portrayed and how Hill wrote around trauma dealing with a miscarriage. I just didn't like the way he presented it. After that, I read Angle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix. I gave this one 3 stars. I think it's a very creative idea. He uses the monster under the bed creature idea. That's what the Angle Snatcher is. It snatches you under the bed and eats you, you know? And you can tell that just by looking at the cover. Like, that's not a spoiler. Like, you look at the cover, like, you guys can see it. So, and I think the synopsis even mentions it. But I've never had a fear of something grabbing me from under my bed. I'm more of a, wow, what is that shadowy figure at the end of my bed kind of scared girl, you know? So I wasn't like, oh my god, this is so scary. It's so possible. What I did like, though, was the fact that he jumped right into bringing the creature into the story and then followed it up with the aftermath of the event. I didn't have to wait long for the creature to show up, which I was super grateful for. And then he kind of like, the way he ties it in at the end, and to like expand on it a little bit more was kind of interesting. Not to the point where I would be like, oh, I would love to read like an expanded series of short stories of all revolving around these characters, but it was fun and kind of interesting. So, and it's well written. After that, it was It Waits in the Woods by Josh Mallerman. I gave this one 3 stars as well, but for the story itself, it's 3 stars. For the audiobook, that is a 5-star audiobook, you guys, because Lauren Ezzo, oh my god, she needs to be hired for more horror books, because when the creature came into the story, homegirl said, I'm about to get paid, okay? She said, I got a job to do, and she brought that creature to life, all right? I want more horror books to do that. I haven't listened to a lot of them yet, so maybe there are more out there that do this, but she gave the creature a voice. Like she changed her voice to something like I was doing dishes and it scared me because I was not expecting it, and I was just like, whoa. Just fantastic performance. Okay, fantastic. The first half of the story really slow, takes a while to build up, but the second half, when the creature finally comes into play and you get to see it and you get to see what it's doing and you feel all the anxiety and the urgency that these characters are portraying to get away from this creature, really good. And then, like I said, you put Lauren's audiobook narration on top of that, fantastic. So after that one, I read In Bloom by Paul Tremblay, and I gave this 1 star. I did not like this one. I found it really, really boring, very long and drawn out. This one was also the story that made me realize that I do not like horror stories that just tell me about the horror. I want to be following a character who's living through the horror and is having to witness it. This was actually, like, when I had reflected back on another book that I read, it was presented this way as well, where I was just being told, like, what was happening. And for some reason, it really, I think because it was a short story for In Bloom, that's what, like, really made me realize, oh, this is boring because I'm just listening to someone recount something that happened to somebody involving the creature. Like, and I don't like that. Like, I want to actually be in the midst of the creature attacking, and then of course the creature doesn't appear again until, like, the last line, literally, like, the last line of the story, and I was like, I hate this. And then after that, we have Best of Luck by Jason Mott. I gave this 4 stars. This was my favorite one out of the entire series and the best one in my opinion. This one just absolutely blew me away. Well, I mean, not like super, because I didn't give it 5 stars. Because it was a little confusing at first. But then once I figured out, like, what was going on, who was talking, how things were being presented, I was like, okay, wait, this is actually really good. And then when I got to the end and what was revealed at the end, I was like, excuse me? Shut up. Like, perfect example of you just cannot trust anybody. You can't trust anybody. Like, always keep your guard up. Always. So good, though. Out of, I have one more, but out of the whole set, that's the one that I recommend picking up. And the last one was Big Bad by Chandler Baker. I gave this 1 star. I hated it from start to finish. From the mother gaslights her kids at the end. You know, I didn't like how it ended in general. I didn't care for the family. Oh my lord, I hated this family. I also don't think that this author has maybe never been around children. Like, I feel like I said that sentence wrong. I feel like this author has never been around children, because the way these children acted, I was like, why are they acting like that? Why are they talking like that? Why are they being like that? And I don't know if she was trying to portray a certain type of child or she's just never been around children. I don't know. But I absolutely hated it. I hated the father, the mother, the children, everything. Everything. So, not my favorite. It was also so long, and I was just like, there is no reason for this short story to be this long. I am over it. So, like, it could have been good, but I just don't. Overall, I think it was like the family themselves that, like, really ruined the story, and then the ending. Like, I really, really hated the ending. So, yeah. Out of the creature feature set, I say if you're gonna pick up one, pick up Best of Luck. Pick that one up. So that's everything I read in May. If you've read any of these, let me know. If any of them sound interesting, let me know about that too. I would love to talk to you guys. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, all those great things, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.